right, some of you, I had somebody come up a minute ago and ask, I did a presentation at XYPN earlier in the week. If you were there, and if you were, I appreciate you coming back again, but it's going to be fairly similar. It's a little bit shorter, a little bit more directed towards bloggers, but just a heads up, you're going to see some of the same content again. So if you feel that's still valuable, that's great. If you want to move on to another one, I totally understand. Thank you everybody for coming. I was a little worried about the 8:30 Friday morning after the Thursday party slot, especially SEO, as exciting as it is. I wasn't sure if I'd be here by myself with our video people. So thank you so much for getting up this morning and coming out. My name is Brent Carnduff. My company is Advisor Web Marketing. I've been working with advisors on SEO since 2009. This is my first FinCon. I'm really excited to be here. I read an article by Jeff Rose years ago talking about this financial blogging conference that he went to and how good it was, and I've always wanted to go. So I'm excited to be here. It's really exciting to see what's going on in our industry, the financial blogging industry. Again, back in 2009, most advisors or people associated with that didn't feel that they could be online, and even if they felt like they could, they thought there was no point to it. I had a lot of people tell me, our clients aren't online, they don't come to us from online, and of course that's changing. I'm actually going through that process right now with a real estate company in Las Vegas where I'm out of that. Real estate is still very much into the cold calling when you get into it, so we're trying to get some of them moving online. It's been an interesting battle. Today we're going to try to put the SEO towards blogging. It's a beginning SEO, but we're going to get a little bit into link building stuff, hopefully have a little bit of stuff for everyone. Feel free to ask questions as we move along if you have stuff about either the content or something related to it, and we'll get started. Okay, my background, as I said, I've been doing this since 2009. Prior to that, I was an elementary school teacher and a girls' high school basketball coach. I went to Cal Lutheran, a fellow alum or student here now, to their MBA for financial planning. Was going to become a financial advisor. That was going to be the next stage of my career. And while I was there, I got involved in a retail, kind of a hobby retail site. I'd never done anything online. And the fellow that developed the website for me sat down with me, he became a friend, and he said, listen, your site's ready to go. I don't do any marketing, I don't do any social media, I don't do any SEO, you're going to have to do some reading. So I started doing reading. That's kind of, I really like to be reading and learning new things, and really liked what was happening online, the options for business people online and for individuals. And so I ended up going in towards marketing for advisors instead of becoming an advisor. And I was fortunate, Cal Lutheran at that time was hiring an SEO company to work with the university, so I was able to work alongside with them, get my experience. And then my web designer actually got my first two clients locally in Idaho. I was in Idaho at that time, and been working with advisors across the country since then. I don't have a huge blog where I get 100,000 people a month coming along, but I do blog. I've been blogging for the last 10 years or so. You can find me at Advisor Web Marketing. That's where I do stuff specific to advisors. BrentCarnduff.com was more of a generic SEO. It is transforming a little bit right now because of the next one, CarnduffTeam.com. My wife got involved in real estate, pulled me into the office to do marketing, and so I'm finding I'm writing SEO for real estate now as well a little bit, and some real estate stuff. Steamfeed, if you're out there with social media, you may know Steamfeed.com, and Search Engine Journal. I'm a contributor to Search Engine Journal, which is a large SEO thing. Yes, sir?
Do you talk about SEO optimization on all these sites?
On Advisor Web I do, Brent Carnduff I do, and Search Engine I do. Yeah, the one is just straight real estate. So unless you're looking for a property in Las Vegas, it won't be much interest to you. So this is part of the headline. We're not going to talk a lot about the problem with SEO. This is Guy Kawasaki, well-known author, a social media person, kind of in the blogging community. Great stuff. He's got some great books out and stuff. This is an older quote, but I saw it fairly recently on a advisor marketing blog about SEO. And there is, can you guys see that okay, or do I need to read it? Okay. Does seem to be that feeling towards SEO. Anytime Google makes a change, there's all kinds of articles. SEO's dead. SEO's finally dead. And like, there's a whole crowd out there cheering for SEO to die. And it comes from this idea that 10 years ago, SEO was a way to try to trick Google. It was a way to try to, there were link farms, there was all kinds of stuff going on that were supposedly shortcuts, kind of black hat SEO they used to call it, or we called it. And Google has done a really good job over the last 4 or 5 years of getting rid of most of that. Not that it doesn't happen anymore, but typically they figured out ways to identify strong links, to identify strong sites, and when sites are showing up, they typically are because they are quality sites, quality content. And though, SEO can help you with that as long as it's done the right way. And Google's not against SEO. They want sites to show up. They want to be able to identify the best sites. They have people that talk to the search engine industry. They only give you some information. The rest we kind of figure out as we go along, hopefully. Okay? So there's old school SEO and there's the newer stuff that's going on, and which moves away from this kind of stuff. One of the issues we have is emails like this. Have any of you worked with SEO companies or marketing companies? Okay, a few of you. How many of you have had good experiences with your SEO company? Yeah, that's what I usually see. So no hands went up. How many of you get emails like this or phone calls saying that your Google Plus account is not filled out completely? I get them every week, those auto record things. And a lot of them will make it sound like it's Google calling you. Google does not make phone calls. Okay, they're not going to call small businesses auto call or robocall to have you finish your Google Plus account. All right, so this stuff is real, you know, it gives SEO a bad name, gives marketers a bad name, but try to ignore that stuff. And then we get to the good stuff. This is a little bit dated, 2014 from Bright Edge, but truly when you get to doing SEO, and a lot of you will see this already if you're blogging and stuff, that once you get set up, most of your traffic, probably well over half of your traffic will be organic traffic, which is what you're looking from SEO. When you're looking at your analytics, it's the organic traffic that's related to SEO. Yes, sir?
Can you define organic traffic?
Yeah, define organic traffic. So what organic is giving you is basically somebody has done a search, found you in the search engine rankings, and clicked on your site. Whether it's in the local, where the maps are, or it's the stuff below that, but not the paid ads. So those are people that have searched for a term. It might even be your name, but it could be a generic term, found you in the search engine rankings, and clicked on your site and visited you. And that's the traffic we want. Now here's part of the issue. The write good content myth. Okay, Google's idea, and it's a nice idea, is everyone will write great content, other people will find your great content, and they'll link to you because they want to share your great content. And through that, you'll rise up through the rankings. And it'll all happen organically, okay? Really nice, and in theory it could work that way. In marketing it often does work somewhat that way because we all link out to each other. In most industries, though, you'll find that very few people link to other blogs when they're writing. Most industries, 1% to 2% of all the people, all the writers in that industry are contributing most of the backlinks, okay? So chances are, within any given industry, if you're writing great content, you'll make some traction, but it's going to be difficult to develop the backlinks and stuff that you need to really become strong. And we're going to get into backlinks a little bit, but when I say backlink, what I mean, one of the most powerful, once we get through the keywords, and we're going to talk about that as well, the most powerful thing you can have in SEO is other high-quality, relevant sites linking to your site. Okay, so you're interviewed by the Wall Street Journal, and they link out to Advisor Web Marketing. Not yet, I wish, but that's a really good link for most of us to have. Okay, or local newspapers, great. Other advisors, other bloggers linking out if they're relevant or related to you is good. Okay. Where we were going with links a while ago, there was a whole link industry. There was link farms. People would create 80 sites and have them all linking to each other, and they'd sell you those links for really cheap. And Google's gotten really good at identifying those. All right. So, but the myth is not quite. it worked for people that started a long time ago and got really into it. Some of those people that you read their books and follow their blogs with, it was easier. There wasn't as much competition then, okay, as we have now for bloggers. All right, just to get you started, if you're going to do some SEO, you might as well know if you're being successful at it. So establish a baseline. The easiest way, the best way when you're doing search engine optimization, everybody wants to identify their keyword, their one keyword, and they want to rank number one for it. Okay, a better way to look at SEO or measure it is your overall organic traffic. So if you're not just focused on one word, you're focused on many words in your keywords in your industry, organic traffic overall is a better success marker. And although Google Analytics over the last 2 years has had a lot of trouble with spam numbers, some of you may have noticed that your numbers, your direct and referral numbers are really high at some point, and they're coming from all kinds of Eastern European sites. Organic traffic, for the most part, has remained pretty true. Okay, and that's what we're measuring. So if you go into your Google Analytics account, and we're looking somewhere here, right there, and then on the left-hand side, there'll be acquisition, then all traffic, and then channels. It'll give you this breakdown right here. And your organic traffic, as you get going, will become your highest traffic source. Okay? So what is a search engine looking for? There's three things primarily. Relevancy, and that's where your keywords come in. What are you about? Are you about retirement planning, estate planning, small business loans, whatever it is? Okay? Technical, and that's become a bigger feature over the last 2 years. Google wants your website not only to have good content, but they want it user-friendly. They want it to function well. They don't want it to be slow. They don't want it to not be mobile-friendly, stuff like that. And then authority. Authority is basically, not totally. There's lots of things that go into it. You've probably heard that Google uses over 200 different measures for analytics, and it's actually, since that quote came out, it's much more than that, I think. But backlinks are really, really powerful, really strong. Over time, you want to be developing those. All right, so keywords, and I hope you can see this. I'll try to help you out as much as I can. Where do you put your keywords? And a lot of you, if you've been blogging, you kind of already know this. There's, depending on what kind of platform you're on, there's tools to help you make it easier, but we'll cover it quickly. Your title tag, okay, which is not something your visitors it's not really for your visitors. That is specifically for you to tell search engines what your website is about. That's your best tool to tell the search engine what that page is about, the title tag. Okay, if this picture is through Chrome browser. If you hover over the tab up top, it'll show you what the title tag is on that page that you're visiting, whether it's your site or not. Same thing on Firefox. And I believe Safari, it used to have it right up in the middle at the top on a gray bar, and I think it still does. So you can go to those browsers and check your competitors' title tags easily. Or if you have a web developer that said they did SEO, you can go back to your site and check to see what title tags are part of your site. Yes?
Does it mean that you want a good description?
Yeah, so your keywords. So whatever that page is about, and we're going to get to that, it should be up there. And on your business name, only needs to be on the homepage title tag. You don't need to worry about the rest of the title tags having your business name, as long as your homepage has it. And that you might want to put your location if you're a location-based business as well. So it might be ABC Financial, Detroit, Michigan, and then financial advisor. The keyword, the most important keyword should be the first keyword. As it moves back. And you get about 60 characters. They change it from time to time.
For each page?
For each page, yes, sir. Yeah, so you want your keywords on each page, and we're going to talk about that a little bit. But every important keyword should have its own page. Yeah. One of the things I check when I go to a site to really quickly check if somebody says, I'm not sure if I'm optimized or not, I look to see if their homepage, what the keyword on their homepage is, because that's your most important page. It's usually your highest authority page. And then I look to see if their services are broken out into individual pages or if they have one service page. It's not usually optimized if they have one service page, which is really common. That's, makes sense to write it that way. But okay, so another place, in your header. A header is just your headline on your article, your content, okay? People read, you probably know, people read online, they like to skim, so it's good to have small blocks of text with headlines. Try, especially towards the top of the page, to include your keywords in those headlines.
You're talking about H1?
H1 is ideal, yes. If you get into the H tags, there's 6 different H tags, header tags. One signifies the most important, 2 a little bit less, and the search engines do that. One H1 tag should be at the top.
Do you know what the impact is if I have a keyword in the header ID but not in the actual header text? Google.
In the title tag instead of the header, and not the header text?
Well, like I'll do H1 company 401k and then, or rather I'll do your 401k and then H1 ID is company name 401k.
Oh yeah.
How does Google treat
So the H1 tag, so what he's asking is, if you have, split your keywords up into different headers along the page, right? An H1 and somewhere later you have part of it in an H2. All of it's good, header's better than, H1 is higher and higher up. And just to get an idea of sometimes how picky, and Google's trying to get less picky, they're trying to be able to, over the last couple of years, they're making changes where over time it's machine learning, and it'll get better and better. But I had one, trying to think of the specifics. I had one tag that was like financial planning, and there was 2 cities there. It could have been, Henderson and Las Vegas. It wasn't that. And the advisor wanted the other city to be the more important, and we weren't ranking as well, so we switched the order. And it made a little bit of a difference just in the order that they were in. So it does make a difference. It's getting to be small stuff. So what I always recommend, write it that's the best for your visitor. Whatever makes most sense when you're reading it. Don't force keywords where they're not naturally sounded. But if you can, the earlier on the page, the bigger header appears. And you can set it up one way, and then you look at your results. And if you're not quite getting what you want, tweak it a little bit. Yeah, so you asked how quick does Google find those changes or stuff that you make. Used to be you had to submit your site there. It took them weeks or even months to find it. Now it happens very, very quickly, within a week usually. And if you submit it, if you're blogging and want your blog found quickly, if you go post it on Google+, they'll usually find it within 24 hours. It's one of the things about Google+. It does have them find it a little bit faster. Yes, sir. Yep. Good question. Yeah, so the question was, what's the difference between typing that out in text or using your logo or something like that if you have a picture of it? It's a big difference. On pictures, and we're going to talk a little bit about it, search engines, your visitors like pictures. Search engines like words. When a search engine sees a picture, it's just a white box. And so there's an alt tag that we can put on. So wherever you're using keyword, and that happens on pictures too, people will write their keywords on there thinking that, and it's great to have, images with graphic or text on it, but the search engines don't see that text that's on the image. It's for your visitor, okay? So you'll want to type out that stuff. Yes?
How does Google handle abbreviations? Like if you're doing a location and you want to say MA?
Yeah. So for abbreviations, Google, if it's a common abbreviation, does fine. State MA is great. They've just made a change where now they are recognizing one word, whether it's plural, spelled wrong, or I'm assuming abbreviation, they're starting to learn. It used to be, particularly 10 years ago or 8 years ago, that when you were doing like an AdWords campaign, you needed to get the misspellings, you needed to get the plural, the singular, everything. And that's a bigger change for AdWords, but it's true of their normal algorithm as well. So the common abbreviations are great.
So if I'm going to write an article about health savings accounts,
Yep.
Can I write HSA or do I need to write health savings account every time?
I would do both. So I would early on put health savings account. So the question was, health savings account, can I write HSA? It's fairly commonly known as an HSA, but much more so among financial people, maybe not so much among lay people. So I would make sure that both are there. And if it's known that way, then you're getting really 2 keywords out of it. Yeah. Okay. Yes?
You're talking about the header tag.
Yeah.
Should you be using header tags and not just like writing and bolding?
Right, for sure, yes.
Searching for the H's.
And that's a good question. The H tag versus bold. Google, those H tags are set up to tell the search engines, this is more important than this one because this is an H1 versus an H2. So yes, use the tags. Only use one H1. After that, go to H2 or H3s. Okay, and usually, like if you're on WordPress, the title that's on your blog that puts there, that'll be an H1. I'm sorry? Yeah, so if you're on WordPress and you write your title of your blog and it shows at the top of the page, that'll be an H1 tag already. So everything after that can be an H2 or H3 or H4. Yeah. Yeah, just one. Yeah, one per post, one H1 tag per post. Not penalized, but they give more significance. They don't recognize multiple as being as important. It kind of dilutes the importance of the one. Yeah.
That means that a blog that has multiple posts, like where it stops and says read more, you have another post under it, read more. They're like on my blog, there's 10
Right.
posts, so it's not recognizing.
So on that page, you're probably, because each of those clicks to a full page, right? So that one is more for the user of that page, and really it's the full post that you go to that's for the search engines. So in that case, it's fine. Yeah, yeah. Yes? Right. So the SEO title is the most important. So the difference is, SEO title tag, the first thing we talked about, versus headline. What's more important? The title tag is the most important. Okay, headline can be used to reinforce that because sometimes you want to write headlines that are more attractive than just the title of what it is. What I would try to do whenever possible, remember for readers and search engines, don't get too cute. I made a couple mistakes of that early in my career that nobody knew what the heck I was writing about. And if you can, try to do both. So you might do like, if you were doing, I can't think of a cute headline right now, but something you wanted to be, you're going to talk about financial planning, but it's a more specific thing. Maybe you're doing HSA and you're not really sure. You could go 10 financial planning tips, or financial planning tips, HSA survival or something like that. So you can get it in there still, but you don't force it. Don't force it. Make it natural. Sometimes you're going to write articles for readers. A lot of the articles you can write, and everything doesn't have to be optimized. Sometimes you're writing for readership, and that's great.
Our website has blog posts that we update the meta title every month to say like July 2016, August 2016 to increase the rate. Does that possibly have a negative impact?
So which is it, the title tag, or is it the URL?
The meta title, so what shows the search engine rankings. So what do you?
That's interesting. So what he said is they update every month to change the date on the title tag.
So that's cashback credit card is July 2016.
Right. That's interesting. And here I think you're probably okay. Because the article's staying the same. I wouldn't be changing the URL. But the title tag you can go in and change, and it's keeping it updated. It'd be better for readers that way. Does that happen automated, or somebody going in and doing that?
It's a small number of posts by hand.
Oh wow, no, I think you're okay on that. Yeah, I think that'd be okay. It's the first time I've come across that, but I think that doesn't seem like it should be an issue. Yeah. Alt text. This is the image thing. Again, search engines. Visitors love images and text. Search engines don't. And so you always want to balance. I know in modern web design goes very image heavy. I always think about that when you're building a new website, that yes, your visitors will love those images, but the search engines won't. They see white space. But there is something called alt text, which is your chance to kind of label your image. So if you're on WordPress, you'll see something like this on the right. If you're advisor websites, they have something. And then if usually they'll have something for the image. And you can just, when you get down to alt text, try again to put your keywords in there, have an image that's relevant to your search. If it's nothing else, if I'm talking about something and the image seems to have nothing to do with it, I might say financial planning, blogging, and then show what the image is, representing, a cool topic or whatever.
When you put alt text, do you put the keywords and then your business name and your website, or just the keyword?
It depends what you want. So what do you include in the alt text? Is it just business words, or is it just the keywords? Is it the business name and website? I would put the keywords, but again, on your homepage, that might include the name of the business and your location. Okay, and finally, within your content, again, it's really important not to keyword stuff. Try to have it flow. Earlier in the content's more important. Headers are more important than regular content. Bold and italics and bullet points are more important than regular content. Anything that makes it stand out as being different. So if this was advisor SEO, we have SEO or search engine optimization, SEO, financial planning keywords, advisor keywords, search engine optimization for advisors. And it's quite a lot in there. I took this page because it fit in a lot. Usually that's a lot, so don't feel like you have to force it to that level of optimization. You want it, first and foremost, to read naturally. I was just working with an advisor over in Atlanta, really good writer, tells great stories, and his website had his pages, although he had pages specific to each service, very few keywords on it, and I said, you know, I recommend not changing it at this point. His stories, his writing is so good and so authentic and sincere that putting keywords in seemed to change the flow, and so we're going to wait and see how it goes on that. Okay, so the technical side, we're not going to get you in working on your code or anything today, but there's some ways to find out how your website's working. You can quickly go to, there's a Google speed test. It's really important that your site loads quickly. It's a free test. You just put in your URL, and it'll give you a yellow, red, or green score saying that yes, your site's loading quickly enough, or no, it's not. And there will be suggested changes that you'll probably want to give to a programmer or something, but it'll give you an idea of whether your site's loading quickly. This is an SEO factor. They know that people will only wait 3 seconds for your site to load, and then they're moving on. They don't want to give poor results to their customer, the searchers, so they're going to reward faster sites. Okay, the other one is mobile friendly, and this has become huge. You probably have heard that mobile is now the #1 place for people to do search. And you can test to see whether your site is mobile friendly. Again, if you search Google Speed Tool or Google Mobile Friendly Tool, it'll come up for you if you don't remember these URLs. But it'll give you a score whether you're mobile friendly or not, and it is a ranking factor. Yes.
So mobile friendly. How do you move your old site
Yeah.
to be mobile friendly? Do you need to redesign?
It's a good question. Mobile friendly. How do you get your site to be friendly? So, used to be you had, and this still works fine. You could have a regular site and a mobile site. Okay. If you've developed a site more recently, especially if it's WordPress, it's probably responsive, which is another version, and that just means it shows up on tablet or phone or desktop adjusted. That's a really great option. It's pretty easy to come by now. If your site is older, 5 years old, 6 years old, which doesn't seem very old, but technology-wise it could be, you want to make sure you check it, because if you're not mobile friendly, it's getting harder and harder and harder to show up on Google.
So
Okay.
how do you move? You just need to use different template now?
Yeah. So if you're on WordPress, change your template, or else go to a programmer and say, can you develop me a mobile site? But the ones I've talked to, and I've not gone through that process, I've had responsive WordPress, it can be a little bit expensive. I think the easiest way is just to get a new template going. But if you're on WordPress, you can change templates fairly easily.
I don't know if it's appropriate for this conversation here. My company, our blog, we host it through WordPress.
Okay.
I've read things in the past, but I've heard conflicting information that having a blog that isn't within the confines or hosted internally, so like right now with our blog, it's aiblog.com.
Okay.
Hosted by WordPress. But I've read that if it should be www.ai.com/blog, that's better for SEO standpoint.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any feel for which is best practice?
It is, and that's a good question. So it's quite common. You'll see a website and you blog on a separate URL. That's what we're talking about, rather than a website with a blog as part of that URL. Both can work, and I've seen both work. The difficulty is that you're really trying to optimize two websites. You're trying to optimize your blog website and your regular website. And so by combining them, the content works for both, traffic's at both. So my recommendation is always to have one, but it can work as two. And I know a lot of start out, especially because you start out with a custom website and a WordPress blog, and you can mesh those a little bit. But if you can, or in future design, you might want to bring them together. For an SEO perspective, that's what I would do. I do see people now, particularly with the way things are going, that they have their financial website, but they want a separate blog. They want something they can monetize separately, their own brand. I talked to a fellow yesterday, he's got his separate because he thinks he'll be moving to different firms along the way and wants to be able to take that with him. So there's always considerations. But from an SEO perspective, one site's better than two. Okay, this is something that's fairly new. Google, it's been in the last year a little bit more, but Google wants everybody to go, instead of HTTP, they want you to go to HTTPS. Now, I haven't done this to my own site yet. HTTPS is secure, is the idea, and they want everybody's site to be secure. It is starting to show results now a little bit, so I'm now in the process of looking at switching mine over. But if you're looking for that little edge, and I'm not saying you have to rush out and change your site right now, but if you're looking for that little edge in your environment, HTTPS is stronger. And really I only looked at a few big sites. The one I found was Kitsch's. Kitsch's is HTTPS. Well, and again, I'm only going by what I Googled. Google came out and said, yes, it's going to be a ranking fire thing that everybody should be HTTPS. So far, there's been little change in it because traditionally, up until now, there's been sites that needed to be HTTPS. If you're doing stuff that required money and stuff, you're much better off in hosting. But they have indicated that they would like everyone eventually to be secure. Yeah.
So you just go to your hosting company to give you.
Yeah, go to your hosting company and work. If you've, I would work with. Did you say you do a hosting company? Would you? So it slows it down a little bit. Is that what you said? Okay. I would make sure that if you're working, when you're doing something with HTTPS, that you have somebody work with a hosting company or designer that you have a lot of communication with that really know what they're doing. Talk to them because it's a tricky process moving it over. Like I would never move my own site over because if everything doesn't line up quite right, you can lose functionality, but also some of the ranking stuff that you have gained already. So talk to some people, get some idea, experience. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's
that leads to a point. If all your URLs are HTTP, and you have established blogs for several years,
yeah, you'd have to do a redirect because basically you're setting up a separate site, so you want to redirect. You want to make sure they redirect your old URLs to your new URLs to pass your stuff on. Yeah, that's it. But anyway, it's something to consider and something to watch out for in the future. You may see more and more sites going that way. Yes.
So would you recommend if somebody's really just started, would you recommend they just start?
Yeah, if you're starting now, I would just get a secure URL. Yes. So if it's usually, if you look at in the bar. When I type it in, I don't see right. Yeah, and so yours is not set up with www. It's usually got the green permanent HTTPS there, but even if you just photocopy or copy that web address that doesn't show it and paste it somewhere, it usually adds the HTTP when you paste it. But the HTTPS is going to be kind of in a green up front. It's kind of a permanent thing, so everybody can see that it's secure once you have it. So if you're not seeing that, you're not secure at this point. Okay. Another little one that's I think going to get bigger. This one's probably more important. AMP, accelerated mobile pages, so it wasn't enough just to be fast and mobile friendly. They want you extra mobile friendly. This is more for, there's been a bit of a debate. This is mostly for publishers, but if you're a blogger, you're a publisher, it changes mobile pages to load even faster and formats them to be even more friendly on the mobile device. AMP, if you've got a custom site, a custom coded site, you'll have to ask your developer to make your pages AMP. If you're on WordPress, there is information on, there's a plugin that you can use, AMP plugin. And if you go to the WordPress plugin search and search for it, it'll come up. And there's articles of what you have to do with it and can do with it. But it plugs in pretty easy. Yes?
I'm getting confused, and I always get confused. When you say when you're on WordPress, I have a hosted WordPress site.
Okay.
So am I on WordPress?
Yes, okay, yes, and I'm sorry. So WordPress, there's a WordPress can be hosted in lots of different places. GoDaddy, Bluehost, I go WP Engine. But if your platform is WordPress, so that the theme, when you get in the background, or the back end, it's a WordPress site. That's when these plugins are available and stuff, yeah. Okay, thank you. It is a ranking factor, and again, it was meant to, they brought it in as a change. It's going to be a slow, slight ranking factor. We're starting to see it a little bit more often now. Okay, authority, the big thing. Once you've got your site functioning fine and you've got your keywords in place, Google knows what you're about, why do they show you over the other 100,000 financial bloggers out there? Okay, so there are things you can do. One of the important reasons that people, any business needs to be blogging is freshness. Google wants your website to be fresh. There's not degrees of freshness, it just wants it to change once in a while. If it's stagnant, they're going to start to demote it, okay? Yes, sir?
Would that be one reason, like our website is reasonably static, we're updating like once a week, but I'm blogging almost on a daily basis.
Right.
Would that be one reason why you'd want to have your blog?
That would. And if you are making changes to your actual website once a week, you're probably okay. It's more months if you go without, but yeah, for sure. In a blog is a web page, a blog page.
Just to be clear about that, so a site obviously has multiple pages.
Mm-hmm.
Updating, I'm not doing much with the like about me.
Right.
But I am updating, other pages.
Right.
Is that impacting
Site-wide. Yeah, so as long as something's changing, and a blog post, putting up a blog post even once a month is changing the site, okay? So you're good. And it does go wide. Long-form content, if you're writing content, the search engines, you may have seen this, search engines like long. They assume that long is good, is informative. Your readers don't all like long, but you can set it up where they skim. Doesn't mean all your content needs to be long. Some articles only, some content only needs to be 200 words. That's fine. But once in a while, if you're worried about search engines or you have a specific term you want to be found, long form, meaning 1,500 words or more, the ideal spot, what I've seen through studies, is 2,200 words or more, okay? Long form content gets found and ranked higher by search engines. It also gets shared through social media more. People just see that and think, oh, wow, that's really got a lot of great content in it, and they share it.
So on my WordPress like SEO optimization, the plugin thing, a couple of my pages are long bulleted lists. Like
Okay.
it doesn't really matter, but I seem to get dinged for that, or those pages show up as red on
Oh, like Yoast on the plugin? Yeah.
And I don't know if it's because it's all bulleted, but like it can't not be bulleted.
Right.
So I don't know what to do about those pages. I'm not that concerned about it. The other pages, landing pages are fine, but
Right.
I don't know if there's a way to fix something like that.
So he's getting some pages, there's different plugins for SEO on WordPress if you're using WordPress. One common one is Yoast, and it's a great plugin. It's my favorite for SEO. It does shows you red if you're not optimized, yellow if you're getting close, or orange, and green if it's considered optimized. One thing to always remember about them is sometimes they only go by formula. And if it doesn't always fit their own formula, like sometimes mine will show up that they're not optimized, but I know it is just because I didn't follow their formula and I didn't like it. Use it as a guide. Some articles, again, aren't going to be. And you know you can go check and see what it is that's hitting you. Yeah, and it's never, a red's never saying that you're not optimized necessarily. It's saying that you're not agreeing to their formula or following their formula. So I wouldn't, again, just like you said, I wouldn't worry about it too much if you're doing everything, you know, if you got titles and stuff, and it's just content is what it is sometimes. Internal linking, we're going to talk a little bit about that. Backlinks, we're going to talk more. We already talked about the challenges of getting links, that most people don't link out to other people. Okay, again, to start your measure, if you're going to work on backlinks, Moz, you may have heard of Moz, M-O-Z. They are a search engine tool, so they're mostly built for SEO people. They do a lot of research. They have software we can use and stuff, but they have a great free tool. It's called the Open Site Explorer, and you can go there and put your URL in, and it'll show you how many backlinks you have right now, and it'll actually show you who, if you scroll down, who's linking to you, and what authority they are, what domain authority. So it's a good tool to go see. A backlink takes a while to show up, and then it takes recent research by Moz showed that after you have a good backlink, it takes about 10 weeks before it really impacts your search rankings. So it's a slow process. It's very time consuming to intentionally go out and find good linking opportunities, but it does work over the long term. Are we good with that? Okay, just a reminder, and I know the people in this room are probably already sold on the idea of content creation, but yes, ma'am. Oh, yeah. What does Moz stand for? Oh, spam score. So it's a new tool for if you go to Moz, there's going to be a spam score. It's a new tool, and really to get into it, you have to be a paid member, but it's just if the site, there's signals, red flags that a site that's linking to you might be spammy. If you know the site and go to it and it looks like a legitimate high authority site, then just ignore it. But if it's something that's flashing a lot and got ads all over the place, you probably want to disavow it. It's probably a bad link for you to have. Okay. There's Google has a disavow tool. So you'd go to Webmaster Tools. Disavowing links is not something you want to get into very easily. You end up giving, a lot of people give away good links. But if you have real concerns that you have a link, if you want to just send me an email, I'll help you go through that process a little bit. Yes?
Is a backlink where I link to someone else or someone else links to me?
Someone is linking to you. A backlink is when someone else is linking to you. You can link out to other people, or you can link to within your own pages, which is internal linking, but the stuff we want for SEO primarily is other good relevant sites linking to you. Okay? Content. This is an advisor, Rick Kaler over in South Dakota. This is his Google Analytics. All right, he's been publishing for a long time. The red dots, I've added those spikes. Those spikes occur every Monday. Okay? It's when he releases his blog. Blogging, once you want to be optimized, but creating content is the best thing you can do to bring traffic. It gives you more keywords, it gives you, Google likes the content, visitors like the content. It takes a while to get where you're getting like this. But I actually met with him, he was in San Diego earlier this week, and we had coffee. I told him if you did a Thursday and a Monday, you double, or Monday and Thursday, you double that. If you did 5 days, you'd get, you know, that much more. Of course, it's a commitment to blog 5 days a week or even 2 days a week. Yes, sir.
I got to go back one step to
Sure.
follow up on her question. You said getting these other big organizations linking to you. Does that mean that all they have to do is look at your site, or does it mean that they have to lock into your site?
So, yeah, so clarifying the link a little bit. So what a backlink is some site has gone to your site or found your site for whatever reason, and within their site, they've created a gateway to your site. So one of the blue hyperlinks that somebody could click on and visit your site. So not only is that good for bringing traffic from there, but the search engines recognize it as well. All right, and you can see Rick's traffic. He gets a little over 4,000 visitors a month. 57% is organic. So he's doing a good job there. Let's make sure we're on track here. Okay, we're getting close. Duplicate content's a big thing with financial advisors. If you're working with them in a firm, they quite often, there's a broker that's supplying content. Google does not want this. If you can see this, this is from a few years ago. It is the same article showing up 5 times in search engine results. That's not good for Google or Google's customer. So they've stopped that. So now, if people are using duplicate content, and there's all kinds of stuff about penalties and things like that, it's not normally going to be a penalty for you if you're using other content or somebody's using yours. But only the original article generally shows up. Okay, not all 5. So you're not going to get SEO from it.
How do they know which one's the original article?
Usually by date of publication.
Okay, so if I periodically change my date of publication to make it look like a more recent article, I can cause a problem.
Yes, if other people are using that article. If it's your article, then you're okay. But if other people are using that, yeah, you're probably diminishing your SEO. Yes? Is that LinkedIn you just said? Yeah, that's a good question, something we talked about. So LinkedIn has that publishing platform. And a very common question is, should I be publishing my content there? Am I creating duplicates? LinkedIn's obviously a much higher authority site than I am. And what's going to happen? So I decided personally that I'm going to put all my content on LinkedIn because I liked the audience I could reach more than the SEO benefit. What I've done since is gone back and checked my biggest blogs, and I always rank 1 ahead of LinkedIn. So they're usually second. So they must have, it's called a canonical tag. They must be, there's things that people can do to set up that says, although I'm a higher authority site, this is the original content, and they must be doing it. So you're okay to be on LinkedIn. Yes, I think it's a good platform.
This might be a little bit of a rabbit hole, but when you're posting original content on LinkedIn, do you do it through LinkedIn Pulse or?
Yes. LinkedIn, so when you go to your LinkedIn account, you can do publish an article on the right. That's where I would do it, yes. So it's permanent.
So I just wanted to clarify, you actually just, do you even make any changes to your original? You just copy and paste?
Yeah, LinkedIn, I open up LinkedIn in one web page or one screen and my article in the other, copy the headline, paste it, copy the article, paste it, and if my picture is good, I resize it to make it 700 by 400, and otherwise it's good. Yes? Sorry. I'm not familiar with Medium. So what I would do, if you have content on there, or put some on, and in a month or 2 later, go and look and see, search for that article. I'm not familiar, I'll have to look at that one. Yeah. I'm all for sharing content every place I can, as long as they're not stealing my rankings. You're okay to duplicate on LinkedIn. Yeah, so what I do is write the blog first, and then, I've seen people say wait a day, and you could, I do it pretty much the same time. Then I just copy and paste it onto LinkedIn. You'll still be the first. I think they must have a canonical tag where it refers back to us, yeah. And duplicate content, again, is not a penalty. Google just doesn't know which one to show. So if LinkedIn's saying you should show that one, that's why it works. Mm-hmm.
Should you do something like right this post originally appeared on, blogger's website?
So it's questions old content onto LinkedIn. I don't. If I'm redoing, like if I go back to my old blog post and update it, I say this article was originally written. But if it's LinkedIn content, it's new to LinkedIn.
Sometimes when I do a post, I'll do LinkedIn, I'll do like a paragraph, and then I'll put that.
Mm-hmm. I think, so from an SEO perspective, I don't think it matters because LinkedIn is saying you're the original. From a reader's perspective, I think they would prefer to have it all in one place, although that does get you traffic. So measure it. I put the whole thing on, but I've talked to people that do that. We're down to 1 minute here, guys.
For LinkedIn, is it better to copy and paste like you said, or just pick that share that
I would copy and paste and put it in there permanently. Yeah. See what else we got. A couple things for backlink strategies. This will help. We'll go through this real quickly. Create high quality content. So you can check existing linkable assets. If you've been interviewed, if you're on a newspaper somewhere, go back and see if they link to you. If not, ask them. If you are being interviewed, ask them to link to you. Okay? Get to know other bloggers. There's a site called Triber, Triberr. It is for bloggers. You can join a tribe. We have a tribe for financial advisors. It's a free site. Sign up, send me an email, I'll invite you to our tribe. It helps you share. I'll explain it another time. Link to other bloggers, let them know. They'll start linking to you. Create linkable content, lists, awards, badges. You guys are familiar with Michael Kitz's top 50 financial blogs? If you're not, go to his site. He's well-known financial. He's got a top 50 financial blogs, and there's a little badge that everyone that gets to go. If you take, so the people that are the top 50 bloggers get that badge, put it on their site. That badge links back to Michael's site. So those badges are creating links for his website. Guest post is really good. Go to other blogs and guest post. They'll link back to you. Check your competitors. If you put them into Open Site Explorer, the Moz tool, you can see who's linking to them. Go to those same people and say, listen, I know you're interested in financial content. Here's some article that I wrote. I will put these slides on my, actually, if you want to email me at brent@advisorwebmarketing.com, if you search for Brent Carnduff, I'll make the slides available. I will give them to FinCon as well. If you want to go back and look, there's a little bit of stuff, mostly on this backlink stuff. I apologize that we didn't get through everything. I hope it was helpful. Feel free to send any questions my way. I'm always happy to help out. Thank you so much for being here this morning, everybody.